Good morning, everyone. This is Tatiana. I'm giving another free masterclass here with you today. It is part of a series of masterclasses that are supporting the launch, the relaunch of my brand, the restructure, the relooking. Lots of transformation has gone on in my life. And as a result, I am really excited to make you be part of it and allow you to benefit from all that I want to transmit and share and give away. So, welcome to Seeds of Wealth, otherwise called as well SOW, S-U-W, so you are what you sow. And on this note, this particular masterclass today is called Scratch the Record. Leading stability and ambiguity is the new paradigm. So I am extremely excited to talk about this. I'm looking to see if there is anyone joining. A few people are joining. That's awesome. Welcome, welcome. I have created this series of masterclasses with very pertinent topics, pertinent themes. My French sometimes comes back up to the surface, even though I do most of this in English. And some of you who are French who are wanting to join, I'm so sorry, but I'm actually a little bit more at ease with English now. And I will do some of this in French when the time comes, or if the demand comes my way. So I'm extremely excited to talk about this particular theme. As I was saying, there's a lot to talk about in terms of bridging the old and new paradigm. And let me clarify a few things before I enter into the depth of the content on stability, ambiguity, the new paradigm principles. So my background is an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur my entire life. That is my spirit. I am also the co-founder and operator, investor of a large franchise in Canada, luxury hospitality franchise worth $50 million. When I decided to strategically exit in 2015, I had built this franchise, this business from absolutely nothing. We were the investors of our own business, of our own startup. We did not rely on any outside funds or investment conglomerates. And that has a lot of power to begin with. And so we can talk about that at another time. But this business taught me so much. Becoming a franchise, a national franchise in Canada, taught me so much. I exited after 15 years, also building that business as a single mom with my two girls, building the business, and the being a mom at once also taught me a lot about stability and ambiguity. So what I'm really saying here is that any of the content that I am transmitting, teaching, sharing is really from real life experience as a CEO, as a woman in business, and as a mother. It is that type of lived experience where sweat equity, financial equity, and all sorts of other equity was actually, part of the structuring of what I do now is really important, because I walk my walk, and what I am sharing with you is not some kind of experience that I've just accumulated out of a book. It is not from a course I just took yesterday or 6 months ago. It is not from a university degree, because my university degree is actually in interior architecture and interior design. And it is really important that today we decipher from, you know, the nice theory that we listen to on social media about making more, being more, doing more, and the real life experience that transpires as the seeds of my wealth. And that's really why I called my space and my brand, my personal brand, which is of course also a business brand, but it's a very personal brand because it is a reflection, a direct mirror of my heart, my soul, my spirit as an insurgent founder, as an entrepreneur, as a businesswoman, as a woman who's defied the odds and broken, shattered her own glass ceiling. I have not followed the rules. I have not listened to the status quo. I've chosen to disrupt it. I've chosen to break the glass ceiling. I've chosen to go beyond what people were telling me that is possible. I believe in the impossible. I believe in possibility, but in a realm that is mine, mixed with the collective. It's a realm that serves my sense of possibility, that serves my desires, that actually in turn serve the collective. And let me tell you, this is the new paradigm. The new paradigm is all about an individual mission that serves the collective good. And so another thing that I want to tell you before we dive deeper into all of this is that I am extremely passionate about burnout. I'm extremely passionate about mental health and depression because I've lived them, because I know that it is part of success, because as an entrepreneur, it is exactly the path that you are on and you will be on if you're just starting. It is not easy and it's super rich. It is that exact spectrum of ambiguity and stability, is that it's uncertain and it's super enriching. It is a direct representation, the spirit of the entrepreneur to me is a direct representation of the new paradigm, actually. So from my own from my own experience that I choose to share with you, to transmit to you, one thing that you need to know is that the path of entrepreneurship, the path of leadership, the path of high performance is one that requires you to know yourself super well, to really master who you are, master your gifts, your genius zone, and master also the parts of you that you deem perhaps not as great, because we all have them, right? It requires you to be super freaking clear with who you are and what you can or cannot do. And from that, make decisions that indeed are for your benefit and that of the collective. Seeds of Wealth is that space for the hyper-achieving mind, for the high performer that seeks community, because the path of the high performer, the path of the high achiever, which oftentimes transmits into being an entrepreneur, being a CEO. You don't have to be an entrepreneur to be a CEO. I know many CEOs, I've worked with CEOs who are not entrepreneurs, they're hired. But the mindset of performance, the mindset of achievement is one that tends to go to extremes. So I call it being on the spectrum. And when you understand that as a high performer, a high achiever, you sit on a spectrum of wealth, power, and success. It means that at any given time in your life, in your positions, in your work, in every part that inhabits the space you're at right now, you are likely leaning onto one extreme or the other. And your extremes are your extremes. But I know for a fact that as a high performer, as a high achiever, that mindset always goes to extremes. And so to bring back a homeostasis, I don't know how to pronounce that in English, but you know what I mean, to bring that back into the picture, to bring a level of equilibrium for you as a leader so that you are sharp with your decision-making skills. So you are sharp in leading yourself through instability with ambiguity. So you are sharp in leading others. So you are sharp in leading your life. So you are sharp in leading your business growth. You need to really be completely mastering, totally mastering who you are, where you're at, what you're about, and where you're going. That is the spectrum. It's super interesting. Please join me and many others in this community. I just relaunched it, so I'm not quite sure yet like how I'm going to bring the community together. Right now, I'm doing a lot of free masterclasses to talk about very important themes for that high achiever, whoever that high achiever is, a CEO or an emerging leader. Perhaps it doesn't, it's not an age thing. If anything, the new paradigm is about merging and bridging biases and opposites and polarities and generations and concepts and this is the new paradigm. This is the new paradigm. If you're not able to fit into this new paradigm and you have issues with it, why? Why do you have issues with it? Go back and ask yourself. What I know for sure is that this new paradigm requires of any extraordinary leader to master self first in order to master your business, your teams, your family, your life. It's a transformation from the inside out. Whatever you seek on the outside is seeking you. So start with you, invest in you. I guarantee you 150%, actually 300%, whatever percent you want. I guarantee you that investment in you, in always growing, always transforming from the inside out, reaps benefit that are actually not even measurable. It's not a KPI thing at all. It goes beyond that bubble of measurement. It's not measurable. Leadership is not measurable. It's a question of relationship. It's a question of really connecting, with yourself and with people. Anyways, I'm not going to go into too much of that, but I wanted to give you a little bit of a perspective on who I am. I'm extremely passionate about supporting high achievers. The reasons why I am also talking about all of this, giving you a taste of who I am, is because when I am referring to mental health, burnout, and depression, these are the extremes that I know a lot of high achievers go to. And I want to shed light on those subjects. I'm a big advocate of those subjects. I'm not just an advocate. I have lived through those moments several times actually in my life. I spent 7 years as a young, started at 15, as a young anorexic, bulimic. I had serious eating disorder issues at the time, and I pulled myself out. I've gone through a last 18 months deep transformation recently that completely changed who I am, what I'm willing and ready to talk about, what I want to expose, what I'm ready to do in terms of impact in this world and what I am ready and who I'm ready to work with. I'm a lot more unapologetic about some of the values that I stand for. And so any theme that I talk about in these masterclasses are all related to the hyper achieving mindset, in the high performance mindset in the new paradigm. Because the old, and this is how we're coming to scratch the record, the old mindset, the old paradigm doesn't have to be inexistent in order to die. It doesn't have to be annihilated, like taken down for it to die. It doesn't have to, because it is on its own really being brought down, I believe. The new paradigm is taking over, and I choose to shift my vision, my work, my energy onto the principles of the new paradigm, because it's actually the principles that I've always lived by. The old mindset is a mindset that I used to have, actually, that was my conditioning. And this is what I've really come to realize in the last 2 years, and hence the deep transformation and void and transition that I've been leading myself through in the last 2 years, is really that. It's leading my own success through the transition. That is what I do with high performers and high achievers, is I teach them, I accompany them through the valley, because success is led through the transitions. This is where you learn the most about yourself. This is where you transform. This is where you see where you're at in terms of your capacity to handle your instability, your ambiguity. When you welcome those moments, those valleys, the voids, when you welcome the transition, when you actually choose to accept the transition in order to transform it, because you always have the choice. I know it's not an easy one to listen to. My mom, for one, hates when I say, you have the choice. You have the choice to either transform or not. You have the choice to grow or not. You have the choice to keep going or not. And I know that some of you, some people out there who listen to that, it triggers them, it ignites them, because they say, no, I don't have the choice. I don't have the choice because blah, blah, blah. And a story comes in to justify why they don't have a choice. I've seen people, my dad, first and foremost, was one who started from absolutely nothing. Like, this man was working as a boy in farms and had a choice to follow his spirit, to follow his dreams, to follow his vision or not. We have a choice. How did he actually follow his dream, his vision, his spirit? Was the way he chose. He embarked into the military that led him to Vietnam, that led him to like all sorts of things. And in the end, he accomplished his vision, and he started from scratch. I started the business I started that became a big franchise really from scratch as well. In my little garage space at home, I had a house that I used as collateral to invest in the business, but it was not loaned to me in terms of outside investors. It was my choice to put myself in that unstable, perhaps for some of you it's unstable circumstances, to invest in my vision, to invest in my future, invest in the equity I was building for our family at the time. It was my choice. And some of those choices that we lead through life, through entrepreneurship, through, high level decision making, pays off, and sometimes it doesn't. Many of my choices didn't pay off in the ways that I was envisioning. And that's part of the choice that we have when we're facing what looks like, again, a valley, a transition, something that is not, doesn't look and doesn't feel like what we wanted. We can easily call it failure. We can easily call it instability. We can easily call it a temporary moment of defeat. We can, because that's what it is. That's what leading success is. So all of those moments that are uncomfortable, that lead to a sense of instability inside, are all moments of choice, of crossroad. And that's my gift to you. Whoever I work with, that's what I do best. That's my gift. I've been in those circumstances so many times in my life that I have made it, in fact, my business today. That's my genius zone, is to transform that uncomfortable moment. It's to transform and extract the nectar of that fall, or that gap, or that void, or that transition, for those who are used to success, for those who are successful leaders. And yet success is including the valleys. It includes all of that. And sometimes in those valleys, we reach moments of depression. We reach moments of burnout. I know I did a huge burnout last September, a year ago, and hence it's part of my teaching. It's part of who I am and what I'm giving back today to society, because I've realized that the how to achieving success was imprinted in my nervous system in a way that didn't serve me. And I kept thinking, why is it that every time I am on one of my peaks, I then reach another level of burnout? And I realized, and this is why I've been in this environment in France here for a little while, recuperating, recalibrating, and really extracting my nectar so that I can not only keep on moving forward and find purpose in my work, but also to pass it on. Pass it on. If I don't pass it on, like, what's the point of living all of this? That's my thing anyways. So I'm very, very emotional when I see leaders, entrepreneurs who are extraordinary people, such as Tony Hsieh, who wrote, about happiness at work, the leader of Zappos, the founder of Zappos, who committed suicide, in fact, locking himself up in a room in a house on fire. People like Kate Spade, Anthony Bourdain, people like Robin Williams, people like the DJ in LA who passed away, committed suicide not long ago, who was Twitch boss, Stephen Twitch boss, who was said to be the illuminator of every room, right? So we who have this drive inside, this spirit inside, this sense of possibility, this desire to accomplish more, and also this light that really lives inside of us. It cannot live on its own. As a high achiever, you cannot isolate yourself, even though we tend to believe that we are on our own. building all of this, that we tend to isolate ourselves, we tend to disconnect, we tend to feel shame, we tend to shame ourselves when we don't accomplish what we've set out to accomplish, when we don't reach the levels we want to reach, when we want to reach them. We tend to be extremely impatient people. We tend to want to contribute to society in a way that impacts and creates more social impact, environmental impact. So we are believers, right? And we have moments where we don't believe. That's the spectrum. And on that spectrum, those moments can be extremely polarized. We have really hot, big highs and really big lows. My purpose is really to accompany you to find your own homeostasis, so that you come back and you make your nervous system come back, and you make your mindset come back, and you create a new identity so that you can accomplish more and be more at once in a different way. And this is why scratching the record is about the fact that the past does not define you. The past does not equal your future. So whatever you've experienced in the past is part of your richness. It's part of your wealth. It's part of what fuels the ways that you're going to choose to move forward. So you can scratch all you want about your past. It doesn't define you. And it's really important to honor that, because in the ways that the high performer and the high achiever functions, I know for a fact from experience that a lot of you that I have spoken with, that I work with, and a lot of me is really challenged by the past, in terms of how do we feel about the past whenever it hasn't worked. It's irrelevant right now. Anything that's happened in your past is simply part of your fabric. It's part of your intelligence. It's part of what makes you you. It's part of what makes you super, super unique and super amazing. Even the voids, especially the voids, especially how you've extracted the nectar out of your voids, out of your transitions, out of your valleys. So learning to lead stability and ambiguity, I can't pronounce it very well, comes first and foremost from your own capacity to self-lead through moments of temporary defeat, as Napoleon Hill defines it. A book I highly recommend if you are one of those hyperachievers, high achievers, high performer in transition, is to read Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Oh my God, when I read that book, I thank the Lord. I thank God, the universe, angels, archangels, anything and anyone that, brought me on the path of this book. It's a miraculous book. So I'll let you discover the book and its content, but it's really about success and successful leaders who experience a type of void and a type of transition that make them completely rethink who they are and where they're going. which is what I've experienced in the past 2 years. And as I was moving through my void and transition, I didn't have that book. I just found this book like a month ago, after I went through all of this. So I guess I had to really move through all of this for me to really understand what it was about, so that I don't know. That's, for me to find the book at the end of my transition, I find it quite interesting. I will determine what that means later. The point is that for you to be able to understand, first and foremost, what is this new paradigm about? The new paradigm is this bubble, this space, this era right now that we've entered, that is really putting all the old principles of business and leadership right back up. Most would say it puts it upside down. I say it puts it right back up, because I believe that the old principles, the old paradigm of doing business, of achieving success, of treating wealth, is all about, it's old, it's stale, it's archaic, it's over, it's no longer viable, it's not sustainable at all. What is the new paradigm? New paradigm is not binary at all. New paradigm is not, you either choose this or that. It's not. That's binary. The new paradigm is you have this choice and you can have this as well. You can have wealth and you can have fulfillment. You can have financial success and you can have a balanced life. It's possible. It depends on what you want. So I love this new paradigm. To me, it's what my spirit is made of. And this is how some of those principles are really the pillars of my past business. And I didn't even know it. And part of my achievement, part of the ways that I thought I should achieve my success in the past was through the old principles, because it was conditioning inside of me. I was conditioned, but it wasn't my real truth. It wasn't really my own equilibrium. It was what I thought I should do. And that's how I think a lot of us have accomplished success in the past. It's through super hard work, sacrifice, compromise, sweat and sacrifice. It's really sacrificing. The old is about sacrificing our life, our health, our family, our connections, our everything that really truly matters to us and makes us happy and fulfilled and rich inside. The old paradigm achievement of success conditioned us to do the exact opposite. Conditioning, that's all. It's conditioning. So Scratch the Record is about being very aware of the principles of the old paradigm and taking them as a platform of conditioning, just that, and switching gears into this new paradigm that welcomes a non-binary mindset. Look at the LGBTQ culture. Look at everything we're asked to include, everything and everyone we are asked to welcome in our lives, in our businesses. So it's a beautiful space for people to be unique and for businesses to welcome that uniqueness, that differentness mixed with togetherness. That's the new paradigm. And to top it off, the new paradigm is really about a horizontal hierarchy rather than a vertical hierarchy. It's no longer the vertical hierarchy of fear-based authority and fear-based marketing and fear-based a fear-based approach where, you know, there is an ultimatum. If you don't buy this now, you're going to lose. You're basically going to be, you know, or if you, it's like, you know, the old carrot that used to be, that used to be put in front of employees whenever leaders would try to motivate their employees by giving a carrot or like a financial incentive. It doesn't work anymore. That's old paradigm. You don't give incentives or financial incentives to people. Today, people want to live their life and use work as a support to live their life. Whereas the old paradigm is all about living work first and foremost and making life adjust around it. That is no longer the case. Today, people want, and actually employers have to adjust to what people want and need in order to show up for work. They want to be able to choose their life. And kudos to that. It's about time that we put our lives, our health, our mental health, our families first, and we make it all work at once. The new paradigm is also being a stakeholder, not a shareholder. It's diverse, it's rich, it's inclusive, it's no longer exclusive. The old boys club, it's a lot more open. It's no longer that arrogant type of superior power that we used to. It still exists, don't get me wrong. What I'm talking about here in terms of the new principles of the principles of the new paradigm, I'm not saying it no longer exists. I'm saying it is no longer going to work as the way to success, as the direction for more. It's no longer going to be paramount. This power, wealth, and success are no longer defined by the old principles. They're defined by the new principles. So the old ways, and whoever chooses to continue to be and live and lead and work in the old ways, they can. It's a choice. However, they're not part of what will be supported today in leadership, in business, in success, in wealth. It's not. The old paradigm ways and principles are falling down, are being exposed, are no longer supported in so many ways. So stability, leading stability and ambiguity. And this is on purpose that I've put those two extremes in the same sentence. Requires you to have the capacity to decipher where you're at on the spectrum, where your business is on the spectrum. Because leading stability and ambiguity is an art. It's mastery. In order to understand what stability even means, or ambiguity for that matter, I actually looked up the actual definition in the dictionary of stability, right? It says it's stability is not likely to fall or give way as support, structure, or foundation. And it's exactly that. So when you find your own homeostasis, your own equilibrium on your spectrum, this is where you reach a level of inner stability so that your leadership and your power can also lead your business through stability. Stability is not is whatever does not give way to a structure, a foundation. So you've got to build your own structure, your own foundation inside for stability. What makes you feel stable? And that is really unique to each and every one of you. So on your spectrum, you've got to be super freaking aware of what is it that makes you feel stable? What do you need in your foundation as a leader to feel like you are stable? Because that will determine how you can actually lead your business and your teams in a stable way through a stable path as well. In your business, same thing. What does a business what does it mean for your business to be stable? What does your business require for you to be stable? Is it an overflow kind of cash flow? Does your business need a certain level of cash flow so that it feels like no matter what happens, you've got your business is covered for the next 6 months or year with your cash flow? Generally, that's a really big plus. Are you supported by the banks? Do you have space to expand support from the bank? Do you have ways to be supported by the banks? What about your clientele? What about your like, how is the development of your clientele going? What is it that you are putting out there to continuously reap the benefits of exposing your business to more potential clients? What is your system? Who works with you? Who is your employee? Who is your contractor? Like, how stable are those people? How do you actually secure their stability? What do you do as an employer to ensure that your business, hence your people, are stable, are secure, feel safe? There's a level of trust. Stability requires trust, requires pillars and a foundation that you need to build. And so what I really like to use as a metaphor is just like a house, right? You are the house, or your business is the house. Any house, any structure needs a very strong foundation. Foundation based in pillars. What you need to exactly that, feel stable and be stable. What are your values? What are the business values? And how do you carry the life, the existence of these values on a daily basis in your business? Excuse me. It's one thing to talk about values and have your values on the wall, and that happens a lot in different businesses. They have beautiful values you see on their welcoming wall, and when you walk into their business, into their company, and they don't live their values. They actually don't do anything to integrate those values in their mindset, in their daily mindset, in their culture. I hope you know this what is it called, citation. It's a quote from Drucker, and it goes as such: culture eats strategy for breakfast. What does that mean? Culture eats strategy for breakfast. It means that the culture of your business, the culture of your company, the people of your company, and how you serve their needs for stability, for whatever they're expressing are their needs, will eat any strategy for breakfast. Meaning, if you have not given emphasis to the culture, hence the people of your business, no matter what your strategy is for profit, expansion, growth, and whatever else you have on your horizon, it will not work. So Stability is not something that these days we find out there in our economy, in the world. You and I both know that our world has been going through unstable everything in the last 2-3 years, right? So stability is something that you can't just complain about, and you can't just sit there and say, oh, I wish, that our world, our economy, our government, our leaders would be more stable. And complain about a lack of stability. Stability is something that you build inside of you. Stability is yours in the making. Stability is your capacity to handle both discomfort, uncertainty, ambiguity, crisis, and whatever counterpart, whatever silver lining you can find out of that. And your job is to find that. And in the middle lane will be homeostasis. In the middle lane of those two extremes will be the company or your own equilibrium, homeostasis. In the middle emerge miracles if you're willing to make the choice to actually be with both. So, number one, as I said, stability is not something you find. It's not something you pick up and go fishing for. No, it's something you build inside of you and inside your business. It's the same. If you don't take care of your own stability, you can't know how to take care of your business stability and the stability of your people and the culture of your business. Your sense of safety is built within you. It is something you choose every day. And it changes, by the way. It moves, it evolves, it grows, it expands. And it's by expanding our edges that we grow. So your capacity as a leader to create stability in your life and be at ease with ambiguity, that makes you an extraordinary leader. So uncertainty, the other extreme of stability, uncertainty, that's ambiguity, right? Obama was, in my opinion, a great leader in being able to hold space for paradox, hold space. And he has an amazing conversation at some point with Brene Brown, who interviews him. And actually she underlined that. And when she underlined that, I was like, oh my God, hallelujah. Like Brene Brown underlined exactly what I find so fascinating in that capacity, in that type of leadership. It's the type of leadership that can hold space for polarity. Polarity means the extremes, right? And remaining in that middle lane, remaining in that space in the middle where you can listen to both, where you can take in from both, where you can extract the nectar of both and not be swayed to one or the other in extreme ways, actually, and not be swayed to be swallowed completely by one or the other, but to remain in that middle lane so that you form a decision, you form an opinion, you form a choice that is rich because it is a choice, an opinion, a decision that is strong. It takes listening. You've got to be able to listen to what you need in order to have and feel and own your own stability, right? The listening capacity is paramount in being able to lead stability and ambiguity at once. That's new paradigm. It's being able to do both. It's being able to be with both. It's being able to hold space for both, because one thing that we can count on is uncertainty. One thing we can count on is change. One thing we can treat as a constant is inconsistency in general. Actually, that's nature, right? Nature can be extremely, sometimes bringing us the unexpected. So in fact, the new paradigm in terms of our strength, our capacity to lead in this new paradigm, is to be prepared to expect the unexpected. Expect the unexpected. It's a sentence that's been with me for years now. It's something I said at some point in my life to someone I cared at the time, and it came out of me. And when it came out of me, I was like, where did this come from? And it came through, I believe, from my higher self. It was something that I know I'm really good at. And you know, it requires an amazing amount of agility, resilience, and strength and courage to expect the unexpected, because that's what our world right now is made of, is uncertainty, ambiguity. It's been it's been magnified, right, in our world. I mean, we see it all the time. It's been how much time have I been on? Oh, it's almost 2. Wow. Okay, so almost an hour. We've been together almost an hour. I've been talking for almost an hour. Excuse me. I did not bring a glass of water. I forgot. So to recap, our world has changed. There's no going back. No matter how much you're hanging on, like dear life, to your old ways, to the old paradigm, to old ways of leading and being, superiority and arrogance, and I mean, there's always going to be people who are acting as superior and arrogant and as though they're more powerful than you. It's, in my opinion, insecurity and ego on their behalf. But and it's part of the old system, I mean, it's part of the old system. There is no reason for ego-based, fear-based. Ego is fear. It protects us. And the only way we can move through these moments of fear, uncertainty, instability, shake up, void, transition, the valleys, the only ways we can move through all of this, that are all really, in fact, about fear, all about uncertainty, all about feeling unstable, is by choosing ourselves first and foremost to know that we're going through this for a reason. I believe there is a very, very powerful reason why our world has been going through what it's been going through, including COVID, including all of the terrible things we're seeing around us. There is a big shift happening, and either we sit and criticize it and stay in fear and immobilize and choose to think and believe that we've got no power to do and be anything more, or we move through it by choosing, first and foremost, to move through it. And little by little, step by step, baby steps, I call them, step by step or big steps, whichever you choose. But that choice is yours. And whether you like it or not, this new paradigm, this future of work, space, bubble, paradigm is here, and it's here to stay, and it's going to evolve whether you're part of it or not. It is evolving in so many ways and so fast that if you choose to not be part of it, of course, that's your choice. And you can be part of it. You can bring your genius to this new world, this new space, because it needs you. Each and every one of us has a unique gift. If you don't know it, if you don't know your own gift and you don't make your choice to move forward and learn to grow, learn to move through all of this, really learn to expand your capacity to lead, to be powerful, to be wealthy, to be successful. If you don't choose that, it's like what Tony Robbins says. I've worked with Tony Robbins quite a bit, and he says, if you don't grow, you die. And it's true. We're here on this earth as spirits. We're here as souls. We're here to grow. And if we don't choose to grow, we die. We die internally, or we choose to die physically. And some people choose that. And that's sometimes what I was referring to at the beginning. It's what makes me really sad. It's because they've isolated, they've disconnected from their body, they've disconnected from their spirit, they've disconnected from faith and God and a higher realm of possibility. They've disconnected from hope. They've disconnected from themselves first and foremost, and they're giving up. It's their choice, I know. And I really want for people to recognize the grandeur of their own spirit and what they bring to this planet, because every person on this planet is on this planet for more, for a good reason. And I want all of us to choose our growth, to choose ourselves, to choose to bring more by being more. So I'm going to leave you with this. I think that this is a lot of content, right? It's a lot of information. It's a lot at you in terms of choice. What I also know for sure is that one little thing I want to add, because it comes to me and it needs to be said. I think this is probably why it's coming, and so I'm going to express it. I see a lot of people, it's sometimes cultural and it's sometimes a little bit what's happening right now in the world. I receive a lot of people who come to me and want to talk about potentially coaching, about some things they've seen out of my content or some of the masterclasses and that touched them, and they're like, oh, I want to grow and I want to talk with you because I want to grow, and I think I need this, I need your help, or I need this, and then we talk and I witness that they actually believe they want to change and grow, but they're not really there. Like, they want to vent about what's not going well, what they can complain about, what they actually talk about. We live in a society where there is so much blame, and it's always about pointing the finger, and yet they show up in that conversation with me, and that's what they're doing. They're contemplating all that they can criticize, they blame, they point the finger. It's society, it's the people around us, around them. It's the how stressed they are because people are not behaving in the ways that they want them to behave, and they're not receiving what they want to receive, and it's like, okay, so you say you want to grow, but you're staying in that space of complain. Just that is not a choice. My job is to show them how they're actually in that conversation, how they're actually not choosing growth. They're just choosing to stay where they are by venting. Okay, but my job is not to just listen to a conversation that is all about venting. When it's the initial conversation, it's more about, okay, so how can I help you? What do you want? How do you want me to show up for you? What can we create together? Where do you want to go? So if you recognize yourself through that, try to decide what is it that you really want. Because that's new paradigm as well. Choosing to evolve is really new paradigm. Choosing to grow is really new paradigm. Choosing to innovate and come up with amazing different solutions is new paradigm. This new paradigm is igniting the fire under our butts. I was going to say another word, but I won't. It's igniting the fire under our butts to grow, evolve, create, innovate, be more, in order to serve a greater collective. We each have a mission. So if you recognize yourself through this little snapshot of, this momentary glimpse of, oh, I'd like to work with this person and I want to grow too. Okay, cool. And how do you want to grow? What are you willing to be accountable for? What are you really willing to be responsible for? Because growth, expansion, and transformation do not happen if you are not accountable for what you want to grow on, for your ways of growth, right? So first, take accountability seriously and decide how you want to grow and commit. Seeds of Wealth, Wealth Beyond Wealth, is a space for hyper achievers and change agents who are on the spectrum of wealth, power, and success, and who commit to greatness and focus on transformation. That is the space. Only when you are committed and you are focused can we work together. Because the decision is yours. I can't make that decision for you. Thank you for being part of this masterclass, of being part of this space. Please reach out and ask me questions. You can book yourself a conversation with me on the Calendly link that will be part of the description of the masterclass. It's on my Instagram profile. It's on my LinkedIn profile. You can take time with me to figure out whether you want to see if we're a fit for coaching. You can also book yourself for the $88 session, which is you choose the theme of any of the masterclasses and we apply it to your life, which is a fun thing to do and quite insightful. There is also the $333 shape shifting session with any of you that so that's regarding the masterclass that I did on the 7 seeds for new paradigm CEOs. It's a shape shifting matrix that I've created that help you move into the spectrum of the new paradigm and CEO leadership. And so that is 3 hours, and it's also extremely tailored and insightful for you. Not it's we adapt all of the seeds, the 7 principles, the 7 seeds of change. We adapt them to your own leadership, your own space now, where you're at now. And then there is another one, same principle in terms of the shape shifting matrix based on the 7 seeds, but it's a more profound rewiring that takes a minimum of 60 days, because that's according to neuroscience, that is the time it takes to rewire your brain and form new pathways with new forms of thinking, new habits and new patterns. And we unlock what's in your unconscious, we unlock what is in your inherited nervous system, DNA, etc., and we adapt it to you. I've got the hiccups. So that is 2 months. It's 8 sessions minimum, and it's 2 months, and you can book yourself and pay for it online, and it's all there. It's very easy. And then of course there is the accompaniment, the guidance as a business counsel, as a tailored chief of staff to CEOs. I do that work as well on a more long-term basis, 6 months to a year. That's so much fun. I love that work as well. I love all the work that I do anyways. So that's really, that type of work is so tailored that you really need to book yourself time with me, so we determine what is it that you want to work on and how much, and you know, how invested do you want me to be? Do you need me to be with you along your side? And I love that work as well. So please reach out. Please let me know what you need. Please let me know also what you need more of. Like, do you need me to talk about more things in depth of what you've heard, what you've seen on my feed, any of it? I think that I believe that part of the reason why I created Seeds of Wealth is really to shed light on a lot of these issues, the status quo of high achievers and high performance that are not so discussed so openly by a lot of different people. And so that's a community. Our community so is that community. We shed light, we talk, we expose, we care, we support, we share, so that we together come back to homeostasis and coherence and cohesion together, individually and together, to serve a greater purpose. On that note, I thank you again. I look forward to seeing you soon on perhaps an appointment, on the next masterclass, online, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, anywhere in the world, because we are a global community. Have a beautiful day. Talk to you soon.